Hello, it's Gary here with my March blog. I bet a few of you will be surprised that I've actually managed to do one almost directly after a February one, not a couple of months. Anywho, right, here we are. Unusually, I'm in quite an upbeat mood. Part of it is my freshly tidied studio. I've been working on this for quite some time now, and it's almost getting to a point of being organised and tidy. I've created more space. I've grouped lots of things together, like all my camera equipment, and I've discovered several items that I have remarkably more than one duplicate of them. Main one being cameras. Yes, I've made a decision that a couple of my older ones are going to get sold. I've also found that, considering I'm a man that rarely ever uses flash, that I had 3 and I have 2 ring flashes. Memory cards are like nobody's business. Why I have bought so many in the past, I have no idea. Yes, there's several things that's like, oh man, I'd completely forgotten about those. I've also uncovered old artwork that I used to sell at Moseley, which I'm hoping is going to be placed somewhere else. Just waiting for an answer on that. Anywho, right, so yes, lovely organised-ish studio, and we have a lovely neutral raw cotton backdrop that has been beautifully sewn together for me by Alison. So here you are, thank you very much. I'm very excited by this small detail. I do like the neutral shade. It's slightly warmer than white. I do like a little bit of texture, and I like the light reflection qualities that this cotton has, I would say. Neutral backdrops are almost like essential, and yeah, it's been a long process to find just the right one for me, so very happy about that. Also, yes, the jaded cynicism that I frequently display has had a subtle shift. I know in the past I've mentioned my challenge, and man, it has been a big challenge to get some gallery space. Yes, I've been, it's going to be easily about 18 months, coming up to about 18 months, maybe a little bit less, that I started thinking, yes, I would like to have my new artwork seen by the real world. And yes, done a lot of emailing. Last year got one response, which was in the complete negative, which was very, very disappointing. However, although I would class myself as an impatient, patient person, because I do get really surprised when things do take such a long time. Yes, I'm outwardly displaying a lot of patience, but inside there's a lot of turmoil. Anyway, yes, in the last few weeks I've refreshed my endeavours, because I have gradually been receiving some beautiful framed pieces of artwork from a wonderful printer and framer, White Imaging. He's been such a great person to talk to, because he's extremely knowledgeable. He's very, very skilled, got a lot of experience, and I was really, really happy the first time that I went in that he'd got a print up by a photographer an equestrian photographer that I very much like. So I thought, if he's been working for her, he's yeah, he must have a good reputation, and yes, he's lived up to it. He's got a great approach, and also he's got a great little dog in the studio. Great. So yes, I've received some lovely artwork, so I thought I've got to redouble my efforts to get them seen, because I'm trying to keep things local, keep things in the real world, and I kind of yeah, there's something, part of a conversation I had last week was about using Amazon for publishing. I realised that there are plenty of printing people in the Digbeth area, and I should have used those, but hey, that's one thing that's yeah, it's by the by. So yes, I've redoubled my efforts, and I've actually slightly changed my approach, which has actually produced some results. So I've had a meeting. I've gone to view 2 galleries, of which both of them are really nice. I'm really yeah, they're subtly different, but there's things I like about both of them, and I went in to see one yesterday morning, and my initial reaction was kind of, oh, this is wow, and then showed me the rest of the place, and their facilities are really good. So I am just waiting for the agreement form for Strix Gallery and the Minerva Works, and I intend to hold an exhibition pretty much the last week of August. I'm going to book between the 26th to the 31st. So it would be absolutely fantastic if you pop that in your diary. And also, yes, I've just booked for the second queer market at the village on the 16th of May. I was at the last one, which was February. Yeah, I had a great time, really enjoyed it. Could have done without being upstairs, but hey, whatever. Yeah, it was nice. I got to show a couple of pieces, and I took some posters, and I took some of my upcycled garments. Had some really lovely conversations, and I did have some lovely conversations with other traders. So if you're looking for a day out on the 16th of May, if you're around Her Street, do pop into the village for the queer market. And I'm going to say, the ladies that made the cakes, oh my goodness, the lemon drizzle is absolutely out of this world. So yeah, highly recommended on that aspect. Also in the background, there's something really potentially super exciting, and I know I've briefly kind of alluded to it in the past, but it looks like it's potentially getting closer, and I'm going to go and take a trip down to Shepherd's Bush in a few weeks, not a few weeks, in about a week and a half, to go and have a face-to-face conversation, and yeah, try and move this forward, because yeah, in this world of social media and things like that, I do find things that do me personally, I'm not a great lover of social media, although I use it quite a lot. It's a real sort of conundrum. I'm not like quite at the stage of suing Facebook for immersion times, which yeah, well, let's see what happens about that. So here we are. Yes, things that are exciting in the background happening, although yeah, it's sometimes very difficult to keep yourself motivated and keep your inspiration going. However, this has given me a little bit of a boost, and I'm going to say the better weather, because it has rained an awful lot this year, and so the brighter days certainly made me feel a little bit more upbeat. So here we're going to say, going forward, yeah, there's things are happening, and I'm potentially trying to arrange something for later on this year. Not quite an exhibition, but could be along the same similar sort of lines. Not trying to be too obscure about it, but yeah, I'm just mid email conversation with said venue, and then I'm also looking at, and I did not realise that you have to look far ahead with these things. I did not anticipate other people using the space. I just thought I'd go along and say, yeah, I'd like chai please, and they'd be saying, yes, that's perfectly fine. Didn't happen like that. So yeah, I realised that I've got to sort of think further ahead, but that's a whole sort of like working on your own thing that you have to do. So right, other things. Let's talk about not current events, but current things. Recently I've seen the Louis Theroux documentary about the manosphere. Oh my goodness, I was absolutely horrified by what I watched, and I took 2 attempts to watch it. The first time I was so I'm not going to say distressed, but it really did totally surprise me that there are men in this world that act the way they do. I'm pretty confident people that my small audience, that you are of a similar sort of thought process to myself, but this sort of behaviour is completely alien to me, and it does concern me that that men think so little of women. It's just absolutely bizarre. Have they no respect for another person? And then this constant seemingly blaming the Jews. Oh my goodness, are we really that far behind with the way we are with other people? This is like that sort of behaviour is so very last century, which, yeah, bonkers. Well, it's not bonkers, it's just insanity as far as I'm concerned. But it does raise questions in me how we perceive other people, and I think there's this thing called empathy, and I think some of these guys, empathy for others is sadly lacking in the current culture that we have, along with, say, it's sort of inground into social media that if you're trying to be positive about yourself, you frequently get really criticised, and we get this dreadful thing of image shaming, body shaming, fat shaming, thin shaming. Why are we doing that? Why are we targeting people's appearance? So often I find there's some people that clearly do possess the pretty privilege, yet it seems that this pretty privilege is being given or attached to them in exchange for empathy, because often you find these people that perceive themselves to be really pretty have really got unpleasant characteristics inside. So I'm not going to say it's a mission that I've had, but linked in with the boudoir that I'm doing, the male body positivity message that I'm trying to bring over. I have found that some of the people that have come to me for a boudoir session, that they have probably only seen themselves through others' eyes, which is maybe, not maybe, yeah, they're definitely going to comment on whether if you're plus size or you're this or you're that or what have you, definitely. And I had it myself, and when I first went onto social media, which is probably about 17 years ago, I was not, it was a new experience for a lot of people, and I hadn't really had to deal with the sort of a faceless interaction with people. So I'm personally not keen on that element, especially through, I don't know, I just say it's complex the way we communicate with people now. But one of the early things that happened to me, there was somebody that was they were trying to get me to hook up with them, and it's not something I do anyway. And when I was sort of kind of politely, unusually for me, politely saying, yeah, thanks but no thanks, I got the fat, old and ugly comment. And although I can brush it off, or appearingly brush it off, it's something that did, at the time, it didn't hurt me, but here we are, 17 years on, I'm still talking about it. And it was, I mean, at that time I think I was around about 20 stone. I've never ever thought I've had the pretty privilege, so I've always thought of just, I am who I am, it is what it is, that kind of thing. And but it sort of it sat with me, and it did kind of make me think about other people that may not have been as resilient. And I'm going to say, although I do think I'm a resilient person, sometimes things do hurt. So this is what sort of made me think that boudoir was kind of a valid thing, and it wasn't necessarily for the people that were fat or were really thin. It was just, it's for everybody. Boudoir for males. And it's to see yourself, how other people, or less of your perception of what other people see. There's a couple of reviews that I've had that have been really, really, to me, that I felt like I'd really achieved, which was Bradley and Ed, who I've collaborated with a lot. And I think us as a collaborating people, I think Ed's really, really grown. There's just such a dynamic person there that he did not realise was there. And if things go as I'm thinking, he's going to be really, really pleasantly surprised about the future of maybe a couple of the images. So other people's words, I don't know, I don't understand why people need to anonymous, or not necessarily anonymously, because often they're not, but people do have that ability now. Anonymous participant. What a comment that is. Yeah, if you're going to say something, stand up and say it. But no, face to face, because so many people will not say things face to face. I know I've got riled up in the past over things, and yeah, I've let rip, but I personally don't like to be lectured about things. So yeah, people do strike out, and is it something, they get a hit out of ruining somebody's day or week or month or life. So yeah, think on that. Let's think on this empathy level. You can do so much more. And I've recently been collaborating with a guy, Tom, who posed wearing some of my upcycled garments, and when we were on location, this kind of gothy couple walked past us, and Tom commented in a really positive way, saying to the girl, "Oh, you look great." I don't know whether she heard him or not, or was she thinking he was being sarcastic, which he wasn't. Absolutely, he really wasn't. And he said something that is something that I do myself, which is telling people that they look cool, or they look good, or they look great, or they look great. It's spreading this empathy and positivity. And there was one thing I took away from a job that I absolutely hated. I think it was in the last year or so. It was probably the last 2 years that I worked for this company. That we went on a kind of body language course, and there was this thing called mirroring, which is standard things that were built in. It's kind of built into us, and so the things that I went away, or I took away from that, was that misery does love company, and if you're in a foul mood or something like that, you can so easily spread it around. So I turned it round, and I sort of targeted one person that I think was really frightened of me, and because it was either, well, the office manager at the time did say that she thought she got Alzheimer's or something, not Parkinson's, because she used to shake. But I did say I do think it was me that was kind of scaring her a little bit, because people have told me more than once that I'm quite an intimidating character. I mean, can you believe it? But anyway, so I targeted this lady with this, not love bombing, because that's so insincere, but yeah, using all the kind of open gestures and softer approach and things like that. And I'm going to say it took a few months, but my perception of it did work. So why don't we all give this a try, being positive and upbeat, and maybe compliment people rather than destroy people. People don't want to know shit like that. I saw a lady in Sainsbury's the other day, and it was something like 10:30 in the morning, and she was wearing a sparkly sequined jacket. Now, it's not often you see that in Sainsbury's at that time of day, and I doubt that she would, she was coming in from a late night out, hungover, whatever you know. So she was this little white-haired old lady with her husband, and she was pushing. I think it was standing by the Daily Deal with a trolley, and I thought, oh, you look great. So I went over and told her, and I think initially she was a little bit kind of surprised, but she had a smile on her face when I walked away. That made me feel good, and if she felt good, that's great, And people, there's a jacket that I like wearing. It's a mustard coloured one with a nice bit of texture on it, and I've had a few comments about, compliments about that it's kind of cool. That makes me feel, and so let us go on this, not a charm offensive, but an empathy offensive, because the world at this juncture, I think we need things like that. We should not be destroying people. We should be elevating them and raising them up. And another thing that links in with body image, social media, the Irish actor Barry Keoghan is featured a lot because yeah, it's featured a lot the way that he is being trolled on social media because of his appearance. Now, I've watched a couple of films with him in, and he's over the last couple of years he's been quite a featured face because yeah, he's in vogue and current. And I saw some pictures. I think it was summertime last year that he'd had done by some high-end photographer for Vogue. And I'm going to say the stylist did an absolutely amazing job. He looked amazing. His face looked amazing. He was beautiful. It was beautifully lit and all things like that. Yet apparently he's been reluctant to start to go outside because of people are commenting on his appearance. And it's like, there ain't no wrong with his face. He's got a great face. And yeah, okay, it's not your production line face, but who wants that? I mean, if he came to me as a client, I'd be delighted. But when I think you watch his expressions and things like that, he's got a very, very expressive face. So for me, if I had the opportunity to photograph him, I would see him as thinking, God damn it, this is going to be Boston. Whereas you get some of the ones that perceive they have the pretty privilege that they can say shit like this to people. I think they're much harder work, much harder work. Anyway, I think I'm going to wind it up because I've got things to put onto Vinted, which has cleared quite a bit of the stuff that I've accumulated over about 40 years, which yeah, there's some really random items, and I've gone past the point of thinking I might use that in the future, because yes, I've upturned a few things that I'd got to potentially to use as props and things like that, for ideas that have just never materialised. But I have found and grouped together all my latex masks, and I found a couple of ones that are kind of really creepy and bizarre, so those are going to get a bit of a showing soon. Anyway, everybody have an awesome day. I've been Gary. Catch you soon.